Okay, so today we have Morrissey and Reader Meet Author. Interesting title. So we're gonna get into this. This is from Southpaw Grammar, and apparently it's one of Morrissey's, more highly touted solo songs. So yeah, I'm interested to see what's going on and to talk about it after. So let's get into it and go. Kind of joyful.
You don't know a thing about their lives.
Uh-oh.
They live where you wouldn't dare to drive. You shake as you think of how they sleep, but you write as if you all lie side by side. Reader, meet author, with a hope of hearing sense, but you may be feeling let down by the words of defense. He says, no one ever sees me when I cry. You don't know a thing about their lives. Books don't save them, books aren't Stanley knives. And if a fight broke out here tonight, you'd be the first away because you're that type. And the year 2000 won't change anyone here, as each fable promise flies so fast you'll swear it was never there. Or have you ever escaped from a shipwrecked life? Safely with your software, all miles from the front line. You hear the way the sad voice sings, and you start to imagine things, or any excuse to write more lies.
Well, okay. So, Morrissey and Reader Meet Author. So that was a really good song. I mean, just talking about the instrumentation off the top. I guess from I looked at the time of the song there. From like 2 minutes to pretty much the end. I want to say it was like a stuttering guitar sound. I mean, you could hear it on the fade out, and which I thought was very cool. I really enjoyed that. And I mean, yeah, just how the song started off. Yeah, my goodness. I mean, like I said, it sounded kind of joyful for some reason to me. And then there's a little bit of like a breakdown, even before Morrissey started to sing. So right away, like the music was, top notch off the top, and I really enjoyed the whole thing through. And I mean, it's like, again, it's Morrissey's vocal, style. Just with how he's talking, He's really kind of trying to plaster somebody here. How it starts off. I mean, you don't know a thing about their lives. And then going on, they live where you wouldn't dare to drive. And so going into the song, and then hearing it was, I had two different interpretations. So like before I started, reader meet author, I thought he was just like going to talk about more, about like a novelist, somebody who writes like a book or, a novel, whatever. But then it seems like, more like, about journalism, maybe more about, music journalism, people that might have came after, Morrissey during his time, or also, he's still alive, he's not dead. So people still write about him. But yeah, so yeah, so I didn't know what to expect, I guess. But then when we were listening to it, I was just like, oh, okay. So I'm getting a clearer picture here. Talking about, just how he says, you don't know anything about their lives. You don't want to drive where they are or whatever. You shake as you think about how they sleep, so I guess he's talking about the writers here. But you're right, but you're right as if you all lie side by side, reader meet author, with the hope of hearing sense, but you may feel let down. So I guess he's talking to the reader here, talking about you want to hear some sense, but you're not going to hear it from the writer. Which again, it's just like Morrissey's, like I always say, he's so brutally honest. He doesn't care what you think, and he's just going to write. And it goes on with the second verse. He starts it off again. You don't know a thing about their lives. Books don't save them. Books aren't Stanley knives. And then now he talks about, again, I guess he's still talking about the writers here. If a fight broke out here tonight, you'd be the first away because you're not that type. But because you're that type. So yeah. And, when he's saying that, it made me think, I'd like to see Morrissey in a fight, honestly, especially, when this came out, 1995 or whatever, but I would have liked to have seen, maybe he did, actually it was released in 1994, but maybe he did get into a fight before, whatever. I've never gone into Morrissey's, his life, his personal life and all this stuff. But I would have liked to have seen, Morrissey in a fight, that pompadour just flying, So anyway, that's just what came to mind. And as well, what he said, they live where you wouldn't dare to drive. I mean, I've seen, when you're talking about that, I mean, I guess you're talking about, the poorer areas or whatever that maybe the rich were afraid of and such. And it made me think, I've driven, especially at nighttime, when you drive down like an abandoned road or something. I mean, before, this is very not to do with the song, but, I had flashbacks to before when I drove down like a road where, it was just, woods everywhere. And all of a sudden there's a guy in the middle of the street jumping up and down to get my attention. And I just flew right by him. Good Lord, I ain't stopping. So yeah, that just gave me flashbacks to that. And, I just feel lucky to be alive because God only knows what that was about. Anyway, so yeah, again, but obviously, he's kind of not really talking about, that kind of, dare to drive. But it is scary in some places. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna talk about the song here. There's nothing on Genius.com usually, like, for an about. But basically, I think I got the gist. But I did find a quote, which was very nice, very helpful, about what Morrissey has said about the song before. So it says, in an interview from 1996, it says Morrissey said, "Reader meet author." I don't know. I have a hard time saying that. Reader meet author. He said, is about a lot of middle-class journalists I know who think they have an understanding of the working class and their fascinations, which they patently do not. So again, just as brutal honesty, he says, like, you think you know something, but you really don't. And it goes on as well, in a Q&A from 2006. So we got, we're going, 10 years later. Morrissey said of Boz Borer, who co-wrote the song, the best of Boz is reader meet author. So, I mean, that's pretty, high praise. And like I said, this song has been, kind of, told to me, and I've seen as well online here, that this is kind of in his top like 25 solo songs, which is pretty good. So obviously a lot of people like the song, and I really liked it too. I mean, again, it just had that kind of jump, and it's just, I always say it's just that quintessential Morrissey lyricism, and just his voice is, I was gonna say he kind of sounds condescending, but he's just being honest. That's just Morrissey. And I just think it's funny. Anyway, so there is another longer quote here, actually, talking about the song. It says Morrissey answered a question about. It says to the question, reader meet author seems to be about people who slum it. So that says there. So it says Morrissey's response to this. I've come across it many times. It's a fascinating phenomenon, especially amongst music journalists who pretend to know all aspects of life, however degrading. It amuses me that these people are middle class, and I know a few, and their preoccupation is in meddling with the destitute and desperate as a hobby. So I didn't say that right, but yeah, they meddle with the destitute and the desperate as a hobby. Middle-class writers are fascinated by those who struggle. They find it righteous and amusing. On the song that you mentioned, I sing "The year 2000, I won't change anyone here," and that's true. He said, "It won't change their lives. They won't be catapulted into space-age culture and mobile fax machines. The poor remain poor. Someone has to work in Woolworths." That's a hard word. Say that 5 times fast. Woolworths. So yeah, again, just talking about, he's just going after the writers here, I guess. And just talking about how, they don't dare. They would be, imagine them being the working class, that kind of a feeling. And, again, I always feel like, especially, again, with like Morrissey and other people I've heard, from the UK, the Sex Pistols or like the Jam, who, those kind of guys, Paul Weller, John Lydon, all these people, from the working class. And then they, made music like this. And it's just like, I don't know, and their music all kind of has like that same kind of thing of like, we're the working class. And it's just like, it's just like they have more, they're more wise or something. I don't know what it is, but they have more to say or something. And they're brutally honest again. And I don't know, I like it a lot. But yeah, like I said, a great song. Another, song that obviously written by Morrissey. That's his writing style right there. And, it's just going on. And again, how we finished the song, I didn't talk about the third verse much, I don't think. But, how he says, "Oh, any excuse to write more lies." So again, it's just, and, you hear the way their sad voice sings and you start to imagine the things, "Oh, any excuse to write more lies." So it's just, brutal honesty, nothing like it. And I just really enjoyed the song, not just for the lyrics, but just for the music. I loved it a lot. And again, like you said, Boz Borer's greatest, song here. That's high praise. And Spencer Coburn again on the drums. I mean, people always tell me, that they know how much I like Spencer Coburn. So, I'm really appreciative of that. And, for another Morrissey Friday. So I guess that's all I got to say. I'm going to go to bed here. But anyway, I'll talk to you guys again soon. So thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting. Appreciate all of the support. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Yeah.